I believe this is the spirit of endless power. It courses through me, fueling my every action and thought. With this spirit, I feel invincible, capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. It is a force that drives me forward, propelling me towards my wildest dreams and beyond. I am unstoppable with this endless power within me. How much power we have depends on how open we are to it. Everything is possible with God. To put it another way, everything is possible with God. To really be powerful, you need to stay connected with God, who makes everything happen. And the stronger this connection, the more likely it is that we can actually rise above all limits. That being said, why waste time going back and forth to get power? Why do this or that practice when you could do something else? Instead of going through the valleys and up and down the sides of mountains, why not just go straight to the top of the mountain? It is written in all the world's texts that man has complete power. This is true for spiritual man, not physical man. Man can overcome physical limitations and achieve great feats by using his higher mental, physical, and spiritual forces. By tapping into his spiritual power, man can overcome physical limitations and unlock his true potential as a spiritual being. The journey to the top of a mountain may be strenuous, but the rewards outweigh the struggles. Through discipline, perseverance, and faith in abilities, man can transcend his physical limitations and unlock his true potential as a spiritual being. The path to true power lies in embracing the journey and emerging stronger and more enlightened. If a person believes they are spirit and lives accordingly, can they be more powerful than someone who only believes they are matter? There are many stories of what we call miracles in all of the world's sacred writings. They are not limited to certain places or times. It's possible to live in any time and still experience wonders. There is no age of miracles. Through the same laws and forces, anything that has been done in the past of the world can be done again. God-men who understood they were one with God and allowed greater forces and powers to work through them performed miracles. This supernatural act is not natural to humans or their normal state, but rather a matter of tapping into higher powers and energies in the universe. These godmen transcended their limitations and connected with the divine, performing seemingly miraculous acts to others. By understanding and embodying this connection, anyone can tap into these forces and experience wonders beyond their previous thought. A miracle is someone who knows who they truly are and how they are connected to the all-powerful and wise nature of everything. This makes it possible for higher rules than the average mind to be shown to them. He uses these rules. People see the effects, and because they can't explain them, call them miracles. They also call the person who does these seemingly supernatural things a supernatural being. However, as supernatural beings, they could do these supernatural things if they were willing to accept the same rules, which would then allow them to use the same powers and possibilities. The supernatural evolves like life, moving from the real to the heavenly. Our understanding and knowledge expand, allowing us to perceive possibilities and abilities. As we move up, everyday things become extraordinary and mystical. It's possible that what we now consider supernatural may become another part of the natural world we inhabit. Until then, we can only marvel at the wonders and mysteries that continue to unfold before us. And what today seems to be supernatural changes into the natural of tomorrow in the same way. And so on through the years. Yes. The God-man is the one who does the strange things that seem impossible. The man who, because he understood the higher powers, goes beyond the majority, so stands out from the rest of them. But any power that one soul can have, another soul can have too. There are the same rules that govern all lives. We can be strong guys and women, or we can be guys and women who can't do anything. I know people will rise as soon as they almost understand that they can. And there can be no limits at all for him, besides the limits he sets for himself. The cream always gets to the top. The only reason it rises is that cream naturally rises. A lot is said about the earth. We need to understand that the surroundings should never make a man. But that man should always be able to change the surroundings. When we understand this, we will often find that we don't need to leave a certain place because we might still need to do something there. But by the power we carry with us, things can be affected and changed in this way. We will be living in an old place with a whole new set of conditions. The same is true for traits and effects that are passed down through families. People sometimes ask, can they be overcome? This kind of question can only be asked by someone who doesn't know themselves yet. If we think that they can't be beaten and live our lives that way, then it's likely that they will stay. The moment when we realize who we really are, and so it is with the huge powers and forces inside. What the mind and spirit can do and how they work. Hereditary traits and effects that are harmful in nature will start to get weaker and then quickly go away, exactly in line with how complete this realization is. There is nothing we can't get through. Do not say that your bad trait is past, or that some trait you were born with makes your whole life sad and gives punishments that don't deserve them. Behind your parents and grandparents is the great will that will never end. You also have that as a gift. This is a strong, beautiful, holy lever that will help anyone who tries. There is no great height that you can't reach. Any victory may be yours in the rage of time. No matter what your fault is, don't give up or stop, but rest your head on the staff of God's safety. Earth doesn't have any claims that the soul can't fight. See yourself as a part of the source of all time. Nothing can stop the power of your heart. The divine heritage of the soul is the best. Again, a lot of people aren't living up to their full potential because they keep giving up their uniqueness for other people. Want to be a world leader? Then just be yourself. Don't put yourself down. Don't let yourself be put in the second-hand group of they say people. Instead, be true to the greatest part of your soul, and don't let any traditions, customs, or rules made up by people that aren't based on principle guide you. People with good minds and hearts will follow the rules that are based on morals. In any case, don't give up your individuality, which is your most powerful weapon. To the habits and customs that have grown out of the mass of people who don't have the strength to hold on to their individualities, people who have used them as ingredients in the mush of concession, that one of our greatest writers has said defines our modern society. If you give up your identity in this way, you'll only make things worse. In exchange, you become a slave, and over time, you probably won't even be able to keep the respect of the people you try to please this way. The more you stay true to yourself, the more powerful and influential you will become. If you are smart and quiet, your influence and power will help make the world a higher, better, and healthier place. Also, everyone will respect and think more highly of you if you do this instead of giving in to the same mush of concession that a lot of other people are giving into. Then you will have an effect on all kinds of people. A great type of hero has the power to captivate people from all walks of life. Even the dogs believe in him. It is the only right and satisfying thing to be that you are yourself. It might not be a bad idea to let your surroundings sometimes guide you, says one. What is a good rule? To always and first be yourself. Above all else, be true to yourself, and it will follow like night follows day. So, you can't lie to anyone. When we pray to the Supreme and live our lives by a principle, we don't have to worry about what other people think or losing their approval. We can be sure that the Supreme will support us. Our lives will never fit other people if we try to make them fit us. And the more we try, the stricter and more irrational they get. Being in charge of your life is something that only God and you can decide. And when something else changes your life, you're going in the wrong direction. The kingdom is within us, and we are at the center of the universe. After that, we are our own law. As soon as we become our own law, then we can teach others about rules that are higher than the ones they are subject to. Or a lot of times, even by as soon as we find this center, then there was that lovely simplicity all at once. The power and beauty of a truly great person. It comes into our lives. Then everyone is trying to have an effect. That sure sign of weakness and lack of real power is not there. This general desire to have an effect always means there is a lack of something. It makes me think of the guy who rides a dock-tailed horse. Being aware that he is not interesting enough to get people's attention. The same as a lot of other weaklings. He decides to be cruel and have the tail of his horse cut off. That its strange and weird look might get people's attention, which he can't get himself. However, someone who tries to have an effect is always fooled more than they succeed in doing so. That man and that woman are truly wise and insightful. Always be able to see the reasons behind the actions of everyone whom he or she comes in touch with. He is great because of who he is, and who doesn't make us think of other people. The men and women who are really aware of their own powers are the women and men whom not much seems to be done. Still, who are they really doing so much? Because they work with bigger groups. They don't seem to be doing much. But they're still doing a lot because of this. They work up there. They keep their link to the power that never ends so strong that it takes care of everything. I come, and they no longer have to be responsible. They are the careless ones. They are careless because the power that never ends is working through them. And since they have unlimited power, are they just working together? The key to the most powerful power is just the coming together of the outside means of communication with power that comes from inside. If you let the power of the forces inside you flow through you, then you are a painter. Will you get better and become great? Inspirations higher than those that come from your own soul can never be turned into something real. You have to open your soul for the higher ideas to come through. You have to let the ultimate source of all ideas fill it up completely. Are you a good speaker? In the amount that you align yourself with and work with the higher powers that will speak through you? Will you really have the power to shape and move men? You will only be a demagogue if you only use your physical tools. You will become a great and inspiring speaker if you allow the voice of God to speak through and use your body. Great and true. In the exact amount that you let yourself be open. Do you sing? Then let the God inside you come out through the spirit of song. It will be 1,000 times easier than all the practice you have done over the years. The power of song will come to you without this and other things being equal. It will be so beautiful and enticing that everyone who hears it will be unable to resist it. During the summer, when I set up my house or tent on the edge of a forest or in the middle of one, I have sometimes woken up on my cot just as the sun was rising. At first, there was silence. Then, every once in a while, you could hear a chirp. As the dawn lights got brighter, you could hear them more often and more until the whole forest seemed to break out in a chorus of song. Wonderful. Wonderful. It looked like every tree, every blade of grass, every bush, the sky above, and the ground below all played a part in this beautiful music. Then, as I kept listening, what a study in song. We could be great artists and leaders if we could just learn from birds and let their powers flow through us. We would have great singers and great movers. Are you aware of the event where Mr. Sankey sang for the first time? One of our smart diaries says, "The 99 at a big meeting not long ago in Denver. Mr. Ira W. Sankey told the story of how the 99 came to be before singing it. This may be the song that has brought him the most fame out of all his others. As he and Mr. Moody left Glasgow for Edinburgh, he stopped at a newsstand and bought a Christian paper for a penny. His attention was drawn to a few small lines in the corner of the page as they rode the cars. He turned to Mr. Moody and said, "I found my hymn." Mr. Moody, on the other hand, was busy and didn't hear a word. For the lines, Mr. Sankey didn't have time to write down a tune, so he stuck them in his music scrapbook. One day, They had a meeting in Edinburgh that was very amazing. Dr. Bonheur spoke very well about the Good Shepherd. When the speech was over, Mr. Moody called out to his partner to sing Henny. He could only think of the 23rd Psalm and how many times he had sung it. The second idea he had was to sing the poems he had read in the paper. The third thought, though, was how he could do it without a tune. Then a fourth thought came to them. They should sing them anyway. He looked at the lines, played the organ, opened his mouth, and sang. He didn't know where he was going to end up. When he was done with the first line, there was complete silence. Is it possible to sing the second one the same way? He took a deep breath. He tried, and it worked. It was easy to sing after that. As soon as the song was over, the whole meeting broke up, and all the people were crying. The most stressful moment of Mr. Sankey's life, he says. Mr. Moody said he had never heard a song like it before. It quickly spread around the world and was sung at every meeting. Inspirations from above. Never let us down when we let them in. No matter what we're doing, if we don't do this, we won't get the best results. Are you an author? Then keep in mind that the most important rule for all good writing is to look inside yourself and write. Do what your soul tells you to do, without fear or doubt. Remember that a writer can only write what they know. He has to be more if he wants to write more. His only job is to be his own secretary. In a way, he writes himself into the book. He can only put as much into it as he is. If he is a great person with a strong sense of purpose and deep feelings, he is always open to the greatest inspirations. Something that can't be explained gets into his writing and gives it life-giving power. This power is so strong that every reader gets the same ideas as the people who spoke through the author. What is written between the lines is a lot more than what is written in the lines. This power comes from the author's heart. This is what gives a book that extra 25 to 30% that moves it from the medium class to the superior class. That extra 1% that makes it the 1 out of 100 that really works. The 99, on the other hand, only see their first version. The mental power that the author of a great personality puts into his work is what makes it move so quickly from one reader to the next. Because in the final, the only way for a book that gets a lot of copies to spread is oral transmission. As a result, a single person will often buy many copies for other people because they think it is valuable to them. Emerson said that a good poem serves the world to sensible men who read it with pleasure and then share it with their sensible peers. As a result, wise and kind people are drawn to it, where their secret thoughts are confirmed and where their compassion makes it public. This is the kind of author who doesn't write with the goal of making his work famous. Instead, he writes with the goal of touching people's hearts and giving them something important that will make their lives better and help them find the higher life and its powers and joys. Most of the time, though, if he is able to reach enough people in this way. The part about becoming literature takes care of itself much better than if he had tried to do it directly. The person who doesn't want to go off the regular path and lets arbitrary rules hold them back. On the other hand, limits their own creative abilities by the same amount. One of the best modern authors says that his book will smell like pine trees and sound like ants buzzing. The swallow outside my window will weave the thread or straw he carries in his bill into my web. It would also be better, gentle sage, for it to smell like pine trees and be filled with the buzzing of insects, than for it to sound like the rules that a less brave type of man learns from reading the works of a few great writers like you, and then formulating his own ideas based on those ideas. A guide to rhetoric that doesn't help men who study to do the same thing that was done before and who will never understand that today is a new day. Landor answers that Shakespeare owes a lot to his authors, but he was more original than they were. He breathed life into dead forms. This is the kind of man who makes things happen his way instead of the way others want them to. Instead, I'd rather be an aid to the infinite goddess, because then I would be free from having to follow the rules or views of any rhetorician or critic. Oh, the people, over and over. Let me give them something that will make the everyday struggles of our lives a little easier. Something that will add a little sweetness here and a little hope there. Something that will make this thoughtless, animal-like Mandev more thoughtful, kind, and gentle. Something that will bring to life the dormant powers of this shy, shrinking little woman, powers that will be so strong that she won't be able to resist them. Give them something that will help them understand that every human soul is divine. Something that will help them become aware of their own divinity with all the wealth, glory, and power that comes with it. If I can do this, I won't have to worry about whether the critics praise or criticize me. However, if it is true, it sounds like a few dead trees breaking on the ground below compared to the beautiful music made by the soft spring breeze blowing through the big pine forest. Is there any kind of faith teacher you are? As you free yourself from the man-made theological dogmas that have held so many people back and continue to do so. And as you open yourself to the holy breath, will you be able to speak with authority? Are you less likely to study the prophets and more likely to become a prophet yourself if you do this? The way has always been open for everyone, and it is still open for you. If you were born into an English-speaking home, you are probably a Christian. For someone to be a Christian, they must follow the beliefs of Jesus the Christ and follow the same rules that he did. To sum up, to live his life, the most important thing he taught was that people are aware, unions with the Father. It was when Jesus fully realized that he was one with the Father that he became the Christ. Getting the power he did was possible because of this. To that end, he never spoke like a guy. He never made any claims about himself. He didn't say the same thing for everyone. Jesus did many great things, but they were not unique. These things had to happen because he was in that state. He said that they were in order and wouldn't change, rather than being one-of-a-kind acts. He talked about them as the result of a state that anyone could reach if they wanted to. He saw them as a teacher and a demonstration of truth. His own statement says that he didn't do anything to prove that he was the only God. The time in the history of the race was marked by Jesus' life and victory. His coming and success started a new era in the history of people. He gave the world a new virtue, a more full ideal. And when his three closest friends got a glimpse of what for they were silent with amazement and awe. He gave us an ideal of life that we could not have had without him, by fully realizing that he was one with the Father and by mastering everything that happened to him in life, right up until the end when his body died. He also showed us the great laws that are the same for us as they were for him. Since one has already won, everyone can win after that. He has probably saved the most people in the world by first fully understanding this great law of being at one with the Father, and then showing others how to do it too. Don't mistake his life and lessons for just a person. This is a mistake that many of the great teacher students have made over and over again. Many of you have been preaching a dead Christ. Please stop wasting people's time now. For the sake of mankind, for the sake of Christ, for the sake of God. And I mean this with all due respect. Give them stones instead of food, and don't waste any more time. As the living truth himself said, "Let the dead bury their dead. Join them when you get there. Teach like Jesus did. The Christ inside you. Find this in all of its deep beauty and power. Find it the way Jesus did. Then you will also be someone who speaks with force. After that, you'll be able to help a lot of other people find it. This is the priceless pearl. This is the kind of preacher whose heart has never even felt the living spirit of Jesus' lessons. As a result, they present old ideas, beliefs, and theories to the people instead of giving them this. Who is leaving our buildings empty? This type seems to spend most of their time getting guys ready to die. As the Germans say, never go to the second thing first. Men need to show us how to live first. Almost always. Living comes before death. In the same way, it is true that the dying will take care of itself in a beautiful way. once we know how to live and live according to what we know. This is the only way that it can be taken care of. People are tired of seeing empty churches, which is why many short-sighted people say that faith is dying out. What could die before it is born? And for most people, faith is still very new. Instead, they are just becoming aware of an important, everyday religion. We're just now starting to get past the letter to its real, living spirit. It's hard to imagine religion dying out. Religion is an important part of the soul. Just like the soul is important to God. There will always be faith as long as there is God and souls. A lot of the religion's dogma, form, ritual, and even letters have stood the test of time. We should be honest and say that many times. Thank God is dying out quickly, and never so quickly as it is now. Through two ways. It's going down. First, there's a big group of people who would rather have nothing because they are tired or even sick of everything. They are not doing this. Instead, they are just giving up on it. Like a tree gives up its leaves in the early winter. This second group is filled with people who feel the holy breath and are discovering the Christ within, with all of its amazing beauty and power to save. The old is being pushed aside by the new life, just like in the spring. As soon as the tree wakes up, it pushes off the old. Dead leaves that had stuck on all winter to make room for the new ones. And it is very interesting and inspiring to see how this old, dead faith is being pushed off on everyone. Let the people who have been leaving our churches empty because they want to give stones for bread and husks and chaff for the grain that gives life fill those places. Let people who are open to these higher ideas take their places, even if it's just a few times. Then let's ask those who say, religion is going out again, a new question. Not the dead coal that lights other things on fire, but the living coal. Please replace them with people who have been inspired by the divine breath and have a very important message to share with the people. Because of this, they can show it in a way that is so beautiful and powerful that it captures the soul. From then on, the churches that have a few dozen people here and there will be packed so full that there won't be room for everyone who wants to come in. No matter what the pearl looks like, let the shell die. We don't need any new information just yet. All we have to do is find the living spirit in the people we already have. Then new ones will come when we are ready for them, but not before. John Pulsford says that what people all over the world need is not to be lectured on old faith, no matter how well this is done, but to be filled with a warmer and stronger breath of God than they have ever felt before. Also, I wouldn't be telling the truth about my own experience if I didn't say that this holy breath fits the soul's nature like a June morning fits the earth. The morning breath doesn't give the trees more freedom to enjoy and grow under its impact than God's breath does for each person's mind to develop in its own unique way. Breath from God is the only thing that can turn the soul's wheel. The man is sped up all over. His feelings are new emotions. His reasons are new reasons. His affections are new affections. And his imagination is new imagination. He doesn't realize how much things have changed. Taking a deep breath makes him realize how much power he has inside him. His nature is something he can't put into words. Because of this, he is sure that the future will hold unbelievable shocks. This is the proof I give my readers that God exists and that people will always have hope with Him. Let God's breath bring life to your soul like a new dawn. Its deeply hidden gems shine in the summer sun. Then you'll have as much clear proof of God inside you as you do of the world outside. The deepest experience of life and unending hope in God are closer to you than anything you see or feel in the outside world. Embrace the unknown with faith and trust in God, as He holds the key to all mysteries and surprises that the future may bring. Allow His presence to fill you with peace and assurance, knowing that His love and guidance will lead you towards a brighter tomorrow. Trust in Him and never be lost in the darkness of uncertainty. There is only one power source in the world, and to capture the secret of power. Work with endless power so that it can continue working and showing itself through you. You will fail at everything if you fail at this. If you don't do this, your job, no matter what it is, will be third or fourth rate, maybe even second rate, but it will never, ever be first rate. Not possible at all. Will it ever be possible for you to become a master? No matter what you think about yourself, the quality of your work will depend on that. Living in the physical and rational world puts limitations on oneself, making it crucial to believe in one's abilities and strive for excellence. By tapping into inner creativity and intuition, one can elevate their work to a level of mastery, breaking free from self-imposed limitations and embracing the possibility of achieving greatness in one's chosen field is essential for reaching one's full potential and producing first-rate work. Recognizing one's connection to infinite life and power allows for growth and growth in one's life. Celestial forces are able to communicate the beauty of birth. Harmony and a pure heart can make one as strong as 10 people. The birthright to life grows like a rose into a fragrant cloud of smoke. An inner spirit is singing a beautiful song of joy all around and above me. It sounds like a chorus of angelic voices, pure and beautiful. And I feel a power rising, like the power of a god in the making with a beautiful wall. It wraps around me and pulls me away from the soda. I am filled with a sense of strength and purpose, knowing that I am connected to something greater than myself. I am in awe of the divine forces at work and the beauty of life and creation all around me. As I embrace my birthright to exist in this world, I feel a deep sense of gratitude and awe. The power within me grows, like a mighty wall protecting me from the distractions of the world. I am one with the universe, and nothing can shake my connection to the divine.